We're live already?
We're live.
What's up, guys? We're here at TAIPEI BJJ. We're sitting in the cold, sitting in the rain, working hard to bring you guys this very important show that we do for the three of you watching.
Yes.
I'm Marshall Stamper. This is Tahric Finn. What's up, Tahric? How you doing?
Not much. I accidentally pressed the button accidentally, so I usually have the studio cleaned up a little bit more before the live show starts, but that is the nature of live. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
And today is
Super crazy.
a special celebration. This will be our 100th upload.
Wow.
It's crazy, right?
So proud. We did it.
Good job, guys.
Yeah, we started a long time ago. Is that 2 years? 100?
Almost, yeah, about 2 years ago.
About 2 years ago, filming technique videos.
Yeah.
We ran out of techniques. We don't know other jiu-jitsu moves.
Yeah.
We transitioned to live videos where we talk about Gordon Ryan stuff. Whatever he does that week, we tell you about it.
Yes.
And if there's a good UFC fight, we mention that.
Yes.
The evolution of the channel.
The evolution of the channel is, yes, we are the Gordon Ryan fan club, and sometimes we watch his fights, but whenever he posts something on the medias,
It qualifies as news.
Yeah, we like to talk about him. Now, the most recent news about Gordon Ryan is he has pulled out of the UFC Fight Pass Invitational.
And who's number one? He had 2 matches coming up. One of them tonight. One of them, what would it be, next week, December 10th?
Yes.
And yeah, he's out of both. It's a bummer. It's really unfortunate. And it's kind of highlighting that like jiu-jitsu is really, it's a house of cards based on one guy. It's all based on Gordon Ryan. He's the only one making money. He's the only one selling tickets. Which is really unfortunate because there's really good matches going on tonight. Mika Galvao against Cody Steele is definitely going to be one of the most explosive, fun to watch martial arts matches ever.
Cody Steele.
Such a good match, and it's not selling the tickets.
Cody Steele is very, very fun to watch.
Mika Galvao, always amazing.
He is very explosive. Mika Galvao, who was outed from IBJJF during the steroid craze, even though now IBJJF has decided we are no longer going to test.
Really?
Yeah, I think.
Is that true?
Yeah, I think they said that they're not really going to be pursuing this anymore.
Why would you say that out loud?
Let me
Can you just like not do it?
Let me just double check
Why
this.
would you come out and like
no longer testing. Yeah, let's see. IBJJF announced that it started testing on June 1st. But when did they stop? Because there was a IBJJF, maybe I'm wrong.
It sounds like a weird thing to make public.
I swear I saw this somewhere. I can't find it right now. But I think that after they caught so many people, I believe that they decided that they're going to stop doing the drug testing.
It's bad for the sport.
I think it is bad for the sport.
It's bad for the business.
It is bad for this. Yeah, it is bad for the business. And is Gordon Ryan pulling out because he cannot use drugs in the UFC Fight Pass Invitational?
Is that a theory?
That's my theory. But
really?
No.
the story is he hurt his rib.
That's the exciting theory. Yeah.
Okay. But he would know that though. That wouldn't be. Yeah.
He's mentioned this before.
That'd be a known thing.
Yeah. So it can't be.
So they showed up like, all right, drug test. Oh no, my rib.
When he first announced that he had this rib injury, Craig Jones chimes in on Gordon Ryan's page a lot, which is very funny.
Always.
And he says something about, like, for somebody that complains when people bitch and complain, you really get injured very loudly and complain very loudly when you're injured. So I love their back and forth.
Yep.
And I would say yes, Gordon Ryan is the whole industry is kind of on Gordon Ryan's shoulders. But next up, I think, is the whole B team. So there's Gordon Ryan, and there's nobody else from his. I don't know who else he even trains with.
Oh, Giancarlo Bardoni stepped in. He's the replacement for tonight.
Yeah.
Fantastic grappler, not selling tickets.
Yeah, I would say after Gordon Ryan, the whole B team would be the next big
Yeah.
ticket sellers, because within this niche, and I would say I am in the niche, but I'm not super in it as like I check news before doing these shows, but there are a lot of names that I don't know, but I do know Craig Jones.
Yeah.
He's been around for a long time, and also he's hilarious.
Yeah.
Nicky Ryan, kind of the same. He does a lot of media. He talks a lot, which is part of what the sport needs. You need somebody to be out there talking a lot. You need public figures.
Yeah.
Just being good at a sport is never enough.
Yeah. And
see.
so the match next week, the UFC Invitational,
Yeah.
it's supposed to be Mason Fowler against Gordon Ryan. They replaced Gordon Ryan with Haisam Rida.
Yes.
Rida, famous for dominating at quintet before getting strangled by Gio Martinez.
Yes. And famously, he beat Cyborg
At
at
ADCC.
the last ADCC, which was his coming to the party moment.
Yeah. And so Haisam Rida, he trains at B team. He's on the team. He's on B team. And so what I think that means, and this is just me speculating, that they reached out to Craig Jones and were like, can you do it? And he's like, a lot of money. And they're like, eh. And then they went to Nicky Rod and they're like, can you do it? And he's like, a lot of money. Like, and then they're like, all right, who else you got? Haisam Rida? And Rita's like, all right, that's my guess.
That could be it. That would make sense.
And it should be a good match. I think Mason Fowler probably takes it. Haisam Rida's very inconsistent at the highest stage, but he's been training at B team for a while. Maybe he's improved. We will see. Excited to find out. I will not buy a ticket, but I'll check the highlights. Looking for some YouTube breakdowns. If there's anything to learn.
Yeah, so in general, yeah, jiu-jitsu it's still, I mean, between me, you, and the other guy watching, it might be quite an important sport, but to the rest of the world, not so much. Gone are the days, I would imagine back in the times of Rome, or there are some communities even still today where grappling is a big deal. If you live in maybe a village in India, or if you live in a village in Senegal, the local wrestler might be a very important celebrity. But as far as in the industrialized world, it's not that big. Like, professional wrestling is pretty big.
Oh, it's so good.
Professional wrestling is big.
Yeah, they got storylines and beef.
Yes, so I
They
think
do backflips.
Yeah, you need for something as basic as fighting. I think you do need a lot of outside build-up before the fight. So, and especially since you're not actually hitting each other, you're just grappling each other. It takes a lot to get people excited for something that will take place, which is why I completely. Are you okay?
Died. No, I'm done.
I completely
It's
understand.
too cold.
He's from a hot climate.
I grew up in Southern California. I'm not built for these weather changes. We have one season. It's called spring.
Yes.
That's why I drink tea.
What is it in Taipei? The weather in Taipei today, I'm going to guess it's 15. Let me see, Taipei.
It's 15 and windy and rainy. The wetness is what gets me.
Taipei weather. It's
grew up in a desert.
18 degrees. Yeah.
Feels much colder.
Humidity 84%.
Oh my God.
That's it. So, are you...
Pray for me.
Yeah. Tough out this 18 degrees. Do your best.
Okay.
Let's see. How dare you there, all three of us watching, demand your respect, says Phyllis.
Who says?
Philip Harris
What's up,
says
Phil?
the three people demand your respect, and
I respect you.
Shogun
And
Marshall.
we appreciate you, man.
Shogun Marshall is sick.
Yeah, I'm so sick. But only in the past 2 minutes. Before that, I was fine.
Yeah.
It's
So
just the stress of this program. It's really bringing down my immune system.
did I mention that this is the 100th upload?
Really? 100th upload to YouTube channel TAIPEI BJJ?
Yes. Ibai. So we're going to go back to our friend, the Grappler's Diary. Shout out to Chris Wojcik. Wojcik.
I should message him. How do you say your name?
Wojcik. Chris
Wojcik.
Wojcik. Wojcik.
Wojcik. I'm gonna guess Voy.
Wojcik. Wojcik.
Probably Polish.
Yeah. So his reasons for why more people don't watch BJJ, including me. I never watched BJJ.
Yeah.
I never watched
Highlights.
BJJ.
Highlights are nice.
Yeah. It is not as accessible as other sports, so which is true. You can't really turn on your TV and find BJJ highlights on the screen. No grappling, really. Even wrestling, only during the Olympics will you see some kind of highlights.
Oh, collegiate wrestling in America is on TV.
It's on TV?
Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
ESPN 3 maybe, something like
Really?
that. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Fox
Okay.
Sports 3, something like
Yeah.
that.
I didn't know that. I don't remember ever seeing that in Canada.
Yeah, it's a different place.
Yeah. It's weird. So not as accessible. You don't know when events are happening. It's kind of this.
Oh, and
this
sumo's on
secret
TV
thing.
in Japan.
Sumo is big.
Sumo's
Actually,
the
so
best.
that is
That's
good.
the best grappling.
That is a good argument as to grappling can exist, but there is a cultural divide because, like I mentioned,
Pageantry.
if you ever watch Senegalese wrestling,
great.
which is a little bit like MMA, and they do takedowns, but stadiums packed with people.
Screaming.
What's the last guy? The biggest guy I remember, his name was, he just went by Tyson. Tyson, great at taking down people, great at punching people in the face, but they're big heroes. I watched another documentary talking about kind of local wrestling in India, where the wrestler would be kind of the king of the community and a hero in the community.
So cool.
So there is a cultural aspect that's massive, which feeds into the access. I don't know if it's the other way around. I don't believe, maybe, I believe that if they just started showing jiu-jitsu on TV, all of a sudden, a lot of it, sure, people would be interested. But I don't know if the demand is there, and maybe they would just be like, why is this on TV?
Yeah.
Put the basketball back on, please.
Yeah, and it's hard to follow. Like one other point he has is the scoring system is
Yeah, there's no
very
unified.
hard to keep up with. Even me, like I've been competing for many years, many different rule sets, and if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, is this allowed in this rule set?" I'm like, "Ooh, I think so."
Yeah.
How do you score points? Ooh, I think I know.
Yeah, there's a lot of little things.
But IBJJF to ADCC, it's not the same scoring at all.
Yeah. I would say there are some basic rules that I think are good, like say no hooking, no grabbing fingers, no scratching, things like
Yeah.
that.
That's great.
Basic, and I think that is around where it should end. But when it comes to things like some competitions you can heel hook, some competitions you can do what's called a knee reap, which is very easy to do accidentally if you don't know the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules and
Or if
a
you
lot
come
of
to my class and we knee reap all the time,
Yeah.
and you go to competition where you're not allowed to do it, very confusing.
yeah, there's a lot of positions and things that are kind of, we don't know if they're allowed or not. Toe holds allowed in certain levels.
And changes by belts.
Changes
you know?
by belts,
You
changes
can
by
be
age.
a 7-year purple belt. You've been training for 7 years so hard, never done a knee bar in your life. You get your brown belt, go to competition, and get knee bar. You know,
Yeah.
it can be a big divide.
Yes. Also, kids, I think kids are not allowed to do
So many things.
a lot of things.
A lot of things kids can't do.
Kids
It's
can't
good.
kids can't
It's
do
fine.
guillotines.
Yeah.
Although one of my students did a guillotine the other day, and I was just like, oh,
Really?
so nice. Because I explained,
taught him?
I taught him the guillotine, just in a kind of saying, when you're taking somebody down, be careful of your head position because you can get guillotined. And I showed it to him once. I showed the class once the danger when going for a double leg and leaving your head exposed. And then the next class, he guillotined another student, and I was like, "Oh, excellent!"
Good job, bro.
It was good. It was good. Another reason is, which I mentioned, it's boring.
Yeah.
Many sports are this way. I used to play soccer a lot as a kid, and although I know that soccer is probably the #1 spectator sport in the world,
Yeah.
I could never watch it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't I could never watch it.
I've seen 2 games. I enjoyed them.
Yeah, despite playing for a long time, live is good. I could watch it live, but watching on TV. So my dad, every Sunday morning, he sits up and he watches, like he catches up on all the European soccer and the soccer around the world, and I can't even look at the screen.
He watches TV, or he's crafty on the computer?
It's on the TV. It's like
Really?
replays on sports channels, like the international. I don't know what you call that thing. Kind of like an MOD. What they have an MOD box here, a cable box.
Sure.
I don't know what you'd call it.
TV thing?
Yeah, a TV box.
TV thing I'll never buy.
Yeah, a TV box.
An outdated technology.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So not accessible. Very boring, especially in competition. The reason why it's boring in competition is they're fighting for positions. So if I go from having somebody in my guard and somebody passes my guard, I could lose the match based on that. Or if somebody even almost passes my guard, I could lose the match based on that. So players have to be very conservative, and there's nothing more boring than a very conservative sport where everybody doesn't want to lose anything.
Yeah.
I remember this coming up years back in hockey. So I'm from Canada, and there was a time when it's called the trap defense system, which I guess it involves more defenders staying back, less scoring, and just becoming a more defensive game where your defenders are staying back, and kind of one of the tricks is you're trying to put the other guys offside. So it's very technical, but it's to win.
Get you.
Yeah, it's to win, but it's so boring.
Trying to win 1-0.
So boring. It was so boring to watch until I don't know if they banned the trap or if everybody caught up to it so well that it didn't really work as well anymore. Yeah. So, yeah, technical scoring systems is a problem.
Yeah.
You do have submission only, which can be exciting.
Yeah.
Because the position is not important, and I think that is more exciting. If there was a way to add even more excitement to that, it would be good.
Yeah.
Just more movement.
I think that's what 1FC is doing well, where you get points for near submissions. You don't get points for positions. And everyone who does jiu-jitsu, they know that to get a submission, the best way is to get the position. So the positions that were traditionally rewarded, side control, mount, back, these are still really good ideas in submission-only matches, but you're not rewarded for getting the position and holding it. You're rewarded for getting the position, which leads to a submission, getting a near submission, which I guess maybe someone could figure out how to game that system, but I don't know how.
Yeah, I'm sure it can be
go for
gamed.
fake toe holds or something. It's a catch.
But it is exciting because it involves more risk taking. When you go for a submission, you're always taking a risk because you're losing a position. You could lose the position. Once you engage 2 hands, you might get rolled over. So going for a submission is risky if you're playing the position game.
Yeah. And super subjective about what counts as a catch. You really got to have a good ref. I was kind of laughing at this. My match, December 16th in Taipei against Lin Bo Yu. It's going to be on a catch system. It's going to be on these rules. I don't know who this ref is. I do some weird stuff. What if I get him in mount and I just pinch his nose? Catch? What do you think?
I would say no.
What if I smother him? What if I...
No. But something like,
What if I grab around his neck and snap down on his neck in a move that's typically illegal? Catch?
No, depends what you're talking about.
Okay, I don't want this as my ref.
I'm going to say no to that one.
What if I dive on a toe hold?
You know what would be a tricky catch for some refs would be the buggy choke.
Yeah.
Nobody sees it as a real choke. And usually when people tap to it, it's like, what happened?
The dude just goes to sleep,
Yeah. So
what about Hindulatine?
Yeah, that would probably not be a catch.
Oh.
Yeah. That would
not be a catch, but he's going to sleep.
Yeah, that would probably not be a catch. I would guess. Most refs are probably not gonna.
What about go-go clinch? I do weird moves.
Go-go
guys.
clinch I think go-go clinch I would count as a catch.
Okay, your back is my ref.
Yeah, you see, I would see the neck is being strangled, and you see the look of pain on the guy's face because it's kind of a.
What about this? It's a near go-go clinch. He's, but not tapping. I go to his arm and raise it, and he gets it back down, and go back to go-go clinch, and then he gets out. 3 catches or 1?
That's 1 catch. That's 1 catch.
It's controversial is my point. Nobody really knows.
Yeah.
It's up to the ref. It's very subjective, but I think it's a move in the right direction and encourages trying to get the submission, which is what everybody wants. That's what everybody wants to see. And the IBJJF, they have advantage systems. Like he's saying, you get them to half guard, that's an advantage. Okay.
Yeah, advantages are weird. Advantages are weird. They're even hard for me to understand.
Yeah, I don't get them.
Yeah.
Catches are closer to being understood.
Yeah.
Because everybody does jiu-jitsu hoping for that dominant submission. That's the goal. That's what everybody likes.
And lastly, the Grappler's Diary says, number 4 reason why BJJ is not watched by more people is that it's a bit brutal. It is based on violence, even though there's no bleeding in jiu-jitsu, generally speaking. According to some brief research, there are roughly 300 million people worldwide who follow MMA. Compare that to the roughly 3.5 billion people who tune into the World Cup.
Is that true?
Yeah. World Cup is mad.
3.5
There's nothing bigger
billion
there's nothing
people?
bigger than the World Cup.
It's half of everybody?
It's half of everybody.
Wow.
And probably like the other half doesn't have TVs.
The other half's American.
yeah. The other half. Who tune in for the World Cup. Also the I can't remember what the cricket world, even the cricket World Cup is like
huge.
billions of people.
Because they're all Indian.
They're Indian and mostly Indian.
Yeah, mostly Indian.
I'd say all Indian.
Indian's big.
Yeah.
India's a big place.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
3.5 billion people who tune into the World Cup. And then remember that BJJ is a tiny fraction of the MMA world.
True.
So, yeah. Most people that watch BJJ, you can assume that they also watch MMA because it's a piece of it. And that's the BJJ is part of MMA in that MMA is usually what brings people to BJJ.
Yeah.
Usually.
People like MMA, they want to try it, but it's too rough. So you take out the punches and you got jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, you got jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu is the nicest part of MMA that you can train on a regular basis without brain damage.
It's the most approachable.
Yeah. Although combat sports tend to insist that violence is beautiful.
Agreed.
The data seems to show that most of the world doesn't think so. Combat sports just aren't as popular as other sports. We are deep in a niche sport, folks. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I've shown in my class just like submission highlights, but it often involves MMA. So let's say triangles. So triangle highlight video. When they're showing MMA triangles, one of the students will just point out, why they're bleeding? Why is there so much blood? This is gross.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Good
it's
point.
not everybody's into it.
Would you show your mom jiu-jitsu videos?
I would show it to her and she wouldn't be interested in it. She would have no interest.
Would she scream?
For jiu-jitsu, no. Unless you're talking about breaking, joint breaks.
Even I don't like that.
Yeah, that's the only. I would say that's the only
like tapping.
brutal.
Tapping's nice.
Yeah, the only brutal part of jiu-jitsu is when something breaks. That's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
But
Too brutal.
people seem to like that too.
Do they?
Yeah. Videos. If you look up any videos where things are breaking, like arm breaks or something like that, it'll have thousands and thousands of views. Compared to, say, just a technique video showing the actual technique that broke the arm.
This is the trajectory of our YouTube channel. We're going to break all my limbs. We're going to get thousands of views.
Yes.
We're doing it, folks.
For the views.
It's worth it.
What else did I want to say? This one? Maybe not.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. We won't touch that one.
Very incriminating. We're not here to incriminate ourselves, folks. We're here to bring you Gordon Ryan news.
Yeah, that's true.
And highly opinionated Are we highly opinionated? I can't tell.
I'm pretty highly opinionated.
Yeah.
PFL officially buys
yeah, it's
Bellator to create global MMA powerhouse. They should just change their name to Global MMA Powerhouse.
Yeah.
PFL.
That's actually a great name.
PFL is kind of
Global MMA Powerhouse is really cool.
Yeah.
PFL is very confusing.
Yeah.
So
So
they're trying to be NFL. Is that the idea?
Yeah. PFL has officially purchased Bellator after months of speculation from fans. PFL founder Don Davis has confirmed that Bellator is now under new ownership. I was reading about this. It's actually kind of confusing because it's supposedly now PFL is the umbrella company, and under it there are 5 companies now. Bellator being one of them. One of them is something like PFL pay-per-view, and it doesn't really make a lot of sense. But maybe, I guess this is just for the corporate structure, you know, the tricks you have to play to pay less tax. Yeah. I'm guessing that's what it is. But on a good note is that now one company has more fighters. I can't remember how many they say.
Bellator's got some good fighters.
30%. So now they have 30% of the top 25 fighters in the world are now under PFL.
Cool.
Which is getting closer to the UFC and ONE FC.
Yeah, so what does UFC have?
I don't know.
68%.
Probably. I'm going to guess the UFC has like
Ryzen, ONE FC. They have a couple.
I'm going to say ONE FC.
ONE FC?
ONE FC has Mighty Mouse.
Okay. Mighty Mouse.
Who else?
The guy who beat Mighty Mouse.
Yeah.
That guy's good.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Ryzen's got some tough guys.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. I think, the competition is good. UFC's hold on MMA could only last so long, but
it's never really been there. Pride was always a big competitor. Strikeforce was a real one.
They bought them.
WWC was a real one.
They bought them.
Right. And so this is why it's a big thing. This is the first time that I can think of where a competitor was purchased by someone not the UFC.
Not the UFC. Yeah. It would have made sense if the UFC just bought Bellator, and
which I'm sure they tried.
Which is part of. So there's a class action lawsuit against the UFC. I actually wanted to talk about this before. I wish I had prepared this, but I remember the UFC has tried to get this case thrown out. So there's a thing that the UFC has, which is called a monopsony.
Oh, what's that?
So a monopsony. So a monopoly is when you control all of the business opportunity in one industry or in one area. A monopsony is when you are the only employer in that area. So if somebody wants to work in this industry, they have to work for you. So this is part of the class action lawsuit, is they have a monopsony. Another part is that they're not fairly paying their fighters, and they're comparing the UFC's pay scale to other things like the NFL or the NBA, percentage-wise, how much the fighters get. I think the fighters get something like 18% of the UFC's profits, and they believe it should be more. I don't remember the exact numbers, but they're going forward with this class action lawsuit. There's been attempts by the UFC to get this thrown out, and it has not been successful, so it is going forward.
How do they have monopsony if these other companies exist? Bellator, PFL.
Well, this is this is
like there's always been other companies.
This is a good case. Yeah. There have always been other companies, but
like
not
cool.
big that pay as well. Yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do? Fight in Bellator? Come on.
Yeah.
I think they pay better.
They do pay better, but the rise of Bellator this has been recent. Like when did I'm trying to think when what's his name, Mr. Wonderful?
Phil Davis.
Phil Davis. So around that time, I would say that was around the time when Bellator started to kind of poach UFC fighters. Before that, it was very, very rare. Yeah. So around that time, Bader went early, but Bader was already finished in the UFC. So I wouldn't count Bader, even though he's been doing amazing in Bellator. I would count something from Phil Davis, because Phil Davis, even though he was not doing well in the UFC, he still had a future
Yeah.
in MMA.
He was considered a tough guy.
Yeah, he was a highly ranked fighter. So I would say around
Crazy
that.
body type.
Yeah, around
Right?
that time would
It's
be
like
when
a triangle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and so, like, have you ever watched a Bellator event?
Yeah, I watched it.
The one that we watched, the only time I had friends over for Bellator, it was Kimbo Slice and Dada 3000. Is that his name?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds right.
The worst fight in history.
Yeah.
There's a point in the fight where they're so tired, they both have their backs against the cage. It's like a crazy, like I've never seen that before. Two guys with backs against the cage next to each other.
Well, that would be a good argument for the monopsony, because if you're a fighter in your prime, and you want to fight the top guys, UFC is the only place you can really go. Bellator, even though it's less so now, Bellator was always a place where if you didn't want to retire, that's where you still had a chance to go fight in Bellator.
Yeah.
And maybe you now had a chance to use your special medication that you need.
Really?
Yeah. I have suspicions.
Okay.
I have a lot of suspicions about fighters that leave the UFC and go to Bellator. They look physically amazing. Yeah. So
Interesting.
I think that's just my. And lastly, long sleeve versus short sleeve rash guard.
I'll chime in. Long sleeve, better when it's cold.
That's
my hot take.
I'm all for long sleeve. I like the grip it gives you. It's less slippery, less nastiness of touching the mats, less skin to skin contact. I'm a recent convert to spats. I never knew the luxury of them before, and only within the past say year and a half, I started to wear them and thought, wow, I've been really missing out.
It's nice.
Because they look too much like girl tights to me.
Yeah.
So I never wore them.
Even today, I was putting on these spats,
Yeah.
and my girlfriend was like, "Oh, like, could you wear those in yoga?" Or no? I was like, "I think that's what they're for. I think that's their exact use."
Yeah.
It's just unfortunate if you wear spats like I do. You have like a bulge, you know.
Yes.
And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. Some coaches are not down with the spats and no shorts.
Yeah.
So the
It's
shorts.
polite to wear shorts over.
Yeah.
I hear that.
The argument for short sleeve or even no shirt grappling is if you want to be slippery. If you don't want to be grabbed onto, or if you want to be able to quickly break those grips or not easily get armbarred, then no sleeves, no fabric is good for that.
Which I agree, because every day I'm using coconut oil on my skin, and I go to grappling, I go to jiu-jitsu, and people can't grab me. Just slipping right off. Makes me feel amazing. My defense is way better. It's very good for the ego. I recommend it highly. But some people would say this is cheating in a tournament, and I hear that too. This is something Gordon Ryan said about Nicky Rod, said that he oils ahead of time, which maybe. You know, I think some people, it's part of their skincare routine and they don't even think about it. And other people, it's an old cheating tactic.
Yes.
I heard Joe Rogan talking about Vanderlei Silva used to take like certain baths with the oil like soaked in his skin. And then once you start sweating, you get oily and you're super slippery. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds like a great experience. I would like this bath, whether I'm competing or not.
An oil massage.
Yeah, an oil massage? Dude, it's so great.
Yeah.
And so requiring long sleeve rash guards and spats cuts down on the slipperiness, which I think is okay.
What was that your hat say? Oh, mutton head. It's a Canadian, made in Canada.
Yeah, it's a Canadian hat.
This is a toque. We call them toques in Canada. And what do you guys call them?
Beanie.
Beanies.
Cultural differences.
Weird. So some guys are saying they just like to roll up their sleeves even if they do wear long sleeves.
What? That's crazy.
Some find that wearing long sleeve rash guards, it's too hot.
Come on.
I don't really find it.
Come on.
I don't find a difference in how hot I feel or how much I sweat with long sleeve or short sleeve. Just because of the material
difference.
and because you're just
Fashion.
gonna be wet anyways.
I think some guys just have tattoos on their arms, and they're like,
Yeah, you gotta
but if I wear sleeves, who will see my cool tattoos?
That is true. You do want to show off those tattoos. Otherwise, why did you get them?
Yeah.
That's pretty important. I think that's pretty important.
I got nice forearms.
This guy says it makes it harder to grip you when you're wearing short sleeves.
True.
which is true.
Kind of the point.
Yeah, it is good. Anybody else chiming in? Long sleeve, since I have eczema on my arms.
Cool.
I'm all about sleeves. I like sleeves. So let me see if there's any questions, and then we can warm up a little bit. Let's see. I come for the BJJ discussion and stay for the economic analysis.
Gotcha, Phil. We are economists at heart.
Yes.
Philosophers and martial artists second.
Cool.
I'm so cold. We're gonna train. We can do this.
Yeah,
we can train like this.
Let's wipe up this moisture.
Oh my god. What time is it?
And train. We got about 20 minutes. Let's see, 11:40.
Okay. We'll train for you guys. December 16th, I'm competing. You want to come out? AZ Fight Club. 2 o'clock, matches start. I'm on last. Should be around 4. Who knows? If you're not coming to that, Joseph Chen's in town the same day. Go to a seminar. It's going to sell out. If you're in Taichung, he's got a seminar the same day. December 16th is the day TAIPEI, Taiwan, no-gi, grappling really elevates. Got the tournament, Joseph Chen, and I wish I knew the guy coming to the Bears Den, some sort of legend. Sounds like a great guy. I wish I could do all 3, but I'll just be at the match. If you're listening, you have options, go to one of those. Let's upgrade together. Okay. I pee and then we train.
Okay. Give me your microphone.
Okay.
Did I mention this will be our 100th upload?
Really?
It's crazy, right? 100.
Hard to believe.
I'm gonna start off in my fully dressed. See if there's anything else to mention here. Gordon Ryan, short sleeve versus long sleeve. Also the spats on the legs. It gives your feet, your legs some grip if you're into leg locking. And more about the PFL. Let's see if there's anything else. No, nothing. Oh, notably, PFL has a super fight division, which isn't determined by weight. The biggest names in the division already are Francis Ngannou and Jake Paul. Both are signed to PFL. PFL is swiftly, so I'm looking at an article from MMA Knockout or Fan Nation. PFL is swiftly assembling a formidable lineup and is poised to make a significant impact in 2024 with the impressive roster of emerging stars, endless funding, and growing popularity. That sounds like that was written by the PFL. Jake Paul is supposed to be making his MMA debut. And the match, the Fight Pass match that we mentioned, that's happening on December 10th, UFC Fight Pass. It will be Mason Fowler versus Haisam Rida. That should be good. My prediction is Mason Fowler chokes out Haisam Rida. I would like to see Rida win, but I'm predicting Mason Fowler wins that one. And then the other fight, the who's number one. Who is he? He was supposed to fight Barbosa, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And now Bodini steps up. Is Bodini Gordon Ryan's training partner?
Yeah. ADCC champion.
Nice. So he will be stepping up. As you mentioned, might be better matchup rather than getting smoked by Gordon Ryan, but better matchup, maybe even more entertaining to watch, but we really want to see Gordon Ryan compete. Which reminds me of back in the day, Mike Tyson coming out and murdering people in one round. I used to love those matches. There's some disappointment at how short they were, but so exciting.
Yeah, but Gordon doesn't do that.
No, Gordon
takes his time.
Slow cook.
Yeah. He wants to make him feel bad. Oh, it's so cold.
Oh man, yeah. Even standing up, it hurts. You move my stuff.
Yeah? Why?
I guess Wednesday, yesterday.
Training too hard, bro? We're in fight camp, right?
That's true. We are in fight camp.
Okay. Let's flow. Ooh. What's your counter here, bro? This is why people don't watch jiu-jitsu.
Are you guys not entertained?
This is fighting, bro.
Who said jiu-jitsu's boring?
Two men on their back. Help.
Oh, short sleeves. Oh my god.
Short sleeve rash guards display your muscles better, as you can see here. Look at that. Nice muscle. Pass me for one. You're a Berimbolo, bro? How you doing?
I'm not a Berimbolo guy.
You're not a Berimbolo guy? You on a live stream, bro? Bring it back. Teach it private now? All we do is bring it back.
It's the best. It's the
Bringing
best
it back.
submission.
Whoa.
You say your alarm?
Huh? Alarm?
Seriously?
Yeah, so that's...
Whoosh.
Ooh. What's that? No one saw that coming. Oof. We're all done. TAIPEI BJJ on YouTube. 100 episodes. Tahric Finn. Marshall Stamper. Oosh.